But that goes back to that. If we're just human beings, right? If we show each other a little bit more love and a little bit more grace, like if every person, right? If every person in this world says, you know what, I'm going to show one person some love today. Oh man, think of how great our society is going to be.
Shit crazy. Smoke to get my mind right. Chillin'. Trying to get my grind right. Fight for respect. Smoke just to chill. Waiting on.
What's up, guys? Sergeant G here from the Stone Vet USMC. Happy Friday, guys. Hopefully it was a good week for you. Hopefully you weren't stressed out and too just done with the week. You know, some of us maybe, some of us maybe not. And for me, they're going to get me going back to work before too long. And I hate being in the office, dude. I got a huge family. I love being with my kids. You guys know that. I got 7 kids and a beautiful wife at the house that takes care of everything, even this dumbass jarhead. You know what I'm saying? It's been crazy, dude. Like, I mean, it is what it is. Still ain't getting no job. I'm still sitting over here wishing I could smoke the cannabis like I know it can help me, but the government says nope, you can't smoke it yet until Senate goes through and legalizes it, the MORE Act, the House bill, the House HR 3884. Hopefully you guys have had the opportunity to look at that. Like I tell you guys, though, here at the Stone Vet, man, that's what it is about breaking the stigma of cannabis. If you guys are still not with it, do some research on it. Check it out, man. It's great though. I got me another jarhead to come on the show with me, man. I got Miss Jessica Rose here with me today from Rosebud Consulting. She's an inspirational speaker. She did some time in the Corps, and I guess enough time in the Corps that she was like, I got to be inspirational to some people. I see what my brothers and sisters have went through, and I got to be able to motivate them and push them, man. How you doing, Miss Jessica?
Great. Loving the weather. Happy for the weekend.
Right. Spring's finally here, getting to enjoy the beautiful weather because in Oklahoma, she's from Oklahoma too. She actually probably just up the street, right up the street from me, not too far. When the summertime comes, it gets hot. It can get very hot in Oklahoma. But right now, you're able to enjoy the weather. I mean, we're in the 60s and 70s, just enjoying the beauty. I mean, it's windy. It's Oklahoma, though, right? That's what the song says. The wind comes sweeping through the plains, right? It gets
Yeah.
windy, but you got to get out there and enjoy the weather. Hopefully your allergies ain't too bad, because if they are, you're in the wrong state for that. So Miss Jessica here, she spent 4 years, 4.5 years in the course. She'll set me right. 4.5 years in the course is what she said. But she was a pogue. You guys know, Army guys probably, oh, she's a leg. Marine Corps, in the Marine Corps, they're just pogues.
Yeah.
But she took care of us whenever it was time to get our awards, get our pay right, and get everything going on. So, so Jessica, with everything that you did in the Corps, why don't you tell us a little bit about your job? What you got yourself into while you was in the Marine Corps?
Old Pogue. Usually they said, "Oh, you're Pogie snacks." Even like we were the bottom of the bottom, right? But for the Marines out there, I did work in IPAC, but I promise, like people actually liked me. So I did a year in deployment. So I handled everything from the pre-deployment audits. Everything once a Marine deployed was our shop's responsibility, and the post-deployment audits, things like that. So it's a very, very small shop that I worked with, a great team of guys. It was great. It was a real true knit family on that one. And we rotate. So to be the best well-rounded admin in a year, I got sent over to separations. So in the separation section, we handled all the discharges, no matter what it was. Was it medical? Was it retirement? Just hey, I did my 4 years, I did my 8 years, whatever, I'm done. We would type the 214s, get your orders, go through the checkout process, all that kind of stuff with you. And then after that, I actually helped manage an ID card center. So I spent my last couple of years there, and that was really awesome. I got to work with tons of different branches of service. I was in sunny San Diego, so saw all kinds of different family members. And like I said, every branch of service came through our doors, and it was great to continue to help people. So I'm blessed, even though I was a Pogie snack.
A Pogie snack. She didn't get to go play in the sandbox either. She said she lucked out and missed out on the wonderful deployment so that we got to go hang out in the sandbox in the 120-degree weather every day.
Yeah, man. When you're admin, you got to fight for those. My first deployment, I lost to a coin flip. So, but it depends who you talk to, man. I mean, that's one thing that a lot of people struggle with who did serve in the military, who didn't deploy. That's the thing. Like, I didn't get to deploy, right? Because that's what you learn as a Marine. That's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
And I got to talk to some really awesome guys that I competed with at the Warrior Games in Invictus. And they said, you know what? nah, man, you were one of the fortunate ones. You didn't have
Right.
to deploy. And I mean, I'm talking like one of my buddies was a scout sniper, like it was really cool. It was really cool to get that perspective,
No, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It is one of those things like we all talk, we'll give you hassle. Oh, you never deployed,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's like you're blessed you didn't get to deploy because the crap that goes on up here with not 98%, 99% of us veterans, it sucks, dude, because
And
guess what? It screws up a lot of things in our life. It screws up a whole, it's a mess, you know what I'm saying? Just in life in general, let alone our family and our friends that we try to keep around, try to keep close to us. It sucks. It truly does suck, and that's one of the biggest things. That's why I do the show, is just to help people relate to us, relate to the crap that we deal with and what we've done, and you're blessed, what I'm saying? You ain't got to deal with the hard, I mean, I'm sure you got PTSD. You went to boot camp, you did the crap. I mean, you went to boot camp, and when you got out of boot camp, now you're a Marine. You no longer Jessica Rose, you know what I'm saying? You no longer the Jessica Rose that went in before when you stepped on the yellow footprint. You're no longer that same person. You're a Marine now. You carry that same title I carry. That crap is burned into our hearts. Like,
yes,
we are hardcore. No, we're Marines. And that's
literally
and
pierced
that's
with the EGA.
that
Yeah.
EGA is burned into us, and it's embedded in us, and we're the best. We are the best, and that's why people harass us, because they're like, "Oh, you're just a Marine." Yeah, I'm a Marine. Remember that. We ain't no ex-soldiers. We ain't no this.
Oh
No,
yeah.
we're Marines. Like,
I
been
tell
out.
people when they say like, "Oh, you're an ex-Marine," I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" It's
What?
like calling people like an ex-wife. Like, no, 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 no. That's not. I didn't like divorce the Marine Corps, break up from the Marine Corps, right? Like, it's also a lifestyle, and then on top of that, like the being the best thing, right? I mean, I came from two Air Force parents who raised two Marines, so shout out to that, right?
Oh,
Give
absolutely
them
right.
the
Yeah,
credit
because you
that's
did say
due.
your brother's a Marine as well, right?
Yeah, yep.
Man,
My
how's
whole
that?
my whole family is
Whole
military.
military. So is your brother still in, or he get out finally?
No, he got out too. He got in a few years before me and then got out like the year after me, I think it was. So yeah, he's a nurse now. So still, I think a lot of people who serve, right, we join the military for different reasons. Some people
Right.
join to get away from their experiences, to set themselves up for a better life. And there's that servant heart. So maybe you join with a servant heart, or maybe you learn to be a servant, that it seems like all the vets that we get out, we're still serving in some capacity, right? I
Right.
mean, look at you,
Absolutely.
like you're doing this podcast, like giving back and serving and just continuing to make our communities and our world a better place. So it's really cool.
No, absolutely, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I mean, was he a lucky one? Did he get to deploy? Did he get to go and
He did. He
oh,
actually is one of the few Marines that got extended. He almost spent an entire year in
oh,
TQ. So yeah, I remember. So my brother, I left for boot camp, and my brother deployed like 2 weeks after I left for boot camp.
wow.
And like the whole time I'm in training, right? He's deployed. Well, one day in boot camp, says like, long story short, somebody did something stupid, right? So all of our letters then had to be shooken out,
Yeah.
and I got this letter from my brother, and it was
Oh.
when he was in Iraq. It was literally a notebook paper folded and taped with duct tape, right?
Oh,
Because he didn't have an envelope. So he
right.
was just working with what he got, man.
Yep.
So he sent it to me, but inside was this little tiny Ziploc bag full of sand from Iraq. And I opened it up, and I saw it, and everyone's like starting to shake their letters out. And I opened my shorts. They have that little liner on the inside. I opened my shorts and let it slide into my shorts. My platoon was like, what is she sneaking? Because I was like, I am not about to have this taken from me. Like,
Right.
absolutely not. The dumb thing was, is that the girl, it was a piece of gum. Like, someone sent her a piece of gum, and she was chewing gum during an IG inspection, like, of all times. Like, I have no clue how she made it through boot camp. Like, sometimes you wonder about people.
Some people
They
you
need like a
wonder.
remedial, you know.
Some people you
Um,
wonder. You're like, how the hell did you make it? How are you a Marine too?
yeah, man. Yeah, how, like, yeah. There's always one. We had about 5 in my platoon.
But that's what the Marine Corps teaches you. There's always one.
There's always one. Yes.
always
But
one.
and I talk about that now, right? It takes all kinds of kinds to make the world go around. Right. So we all have our own issues. Not
Right.
everyone's cup of tea.
So
So
true. Absolutely. So I mean, so not, but you get to see how your brother is though. You probably kind of see some of the struggles he deals with. I mean,
yeah, like I remember calling him and he was getting out, and I was like, "Hey bro, I just want you to know in the next 6 months to a year, you're going to call me and we're going to have a conversation that you don't think you're going to need and that you think you're not going to have, but we're going to have it. So just know I'm ready. Like,
Absolutely, because you know it. I mean, with what you're doing now. So after you did your 4.5 years, how was your transition? I know when I was getting out, it was called TAPS. I guess they call it TRS now or something.
it was called Tampa Taps when I was in.
Tam taps.
So
So they double
Tampa
tapped it.
Taps. Yeah, yeah. I was like, I don't remember what the TAMP stood for, but it was like TAMP/TAPS. So maybe it was TAMPS or TAMPS, and then there was transitioning to TAPS, and who knows. But
How
yeah,
was that for you?
I did go through it, but it is kind of interesting. My transition process was not ideal. So I was on med hold, and that's why I did the whole 4.5 years. And being med hold, right? So you don't have a date. You don't know when you're getting out. You're just like, one day someone's going to tell me when to leave.
It's time to go.
And yeah, I logged in one morning and I was like, oh, I was supposed to leave last Friday. Okay. So let's make this happen. Well, we all knew that it was going to be quick. We just didn't
Were
expect.
you married at the time?
No, I was not.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
that
it's just you then. It's just you. It's
yeah,
kinda, you
yeah,
gotta get the whole
yeah.
family
It was just
together and
me.
stuff.
Yeah, it was me in California. It was just my shop I was worried about. It was like, one day I'm just not going to be here, guys. So I just fell back on my leave. I didn't get to take all my PTAD, but yeah. So going through that process, I had a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. Like, I'm staying in San Diego. This is what I'm gonna do. If this doesn't work out, this is what I'm gonna do. You know, like I had where I was gonna live, the school I was gonna go to. You know, all these different things, right? Well, it was literally like plan A started to fall apart. Plan B started to fall apart. Plan C maybe wasn't as detailed as I thought it was. Right. So I got to the point where, and, you know, I get the just, you know, I say this and then it sounds like way worse, you know, so I have like a disclaimer too. Like, I got to the point I was sleeping in my car. I was on base. I'd go to the officer housing where the playground was for the kids, and I would put my sunroof up and I would sleep in my car because I'm like, this is the safest place I know. Now, could I have spent money and paid for a hotel? Yes. However, I just lost my job, right? The job I was gonna have fell apart, right? So I'm thinking ahead where if I can sleep in my car and I can go to the free gym and take a shower and save that money because I don't know what's going to happen a week from now. I don't know what's going to happen 2 weeks from now. And my car was paid for.
And the
So
thing
nobody
is,
could take
as
that
an
from me.
enlisted
You know?
personnel, you probably weren't saving like you should have been saving. I mean,
Oh, no. 'Cause I'm
nobody's
young and
saving.
dumb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
enlisted.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people. I said that's the difference between enlisted and officers. Officers, you got to go to college, you got to get a degree in something, and you know you live life a little bit. Us enlisted people, this is probably the most money we've ever made in our entire life. We're gonna
Yeah,
blow it
man.
as soon as we get it. Like as soon as we
Yeah.
get we're blowing it. You know, we're not putting 10% back for savings for just
Yeah.
in case. No, we're gonna go in, we're gonna drink it all, or we're gonna go to the strip club, or we're gonna go do whatever and just blow it all and just
Mhm.
be done with it, you know?
Buy the crazy nice car,
Yeah,
right? Brand new
exactly. With
car,
18%
you
interest
know,
and not even
nice apartment in San Diego.
you know,
Yeah, man. Like,
absolutely.
you know,
And like for you,
so
you're like, oh, I was supposed to be gone last Friday, and all I have is like $100 in my account. You know?
well, I'll say I definitely wasn't that hard off. And I did get a separations check because I couldn't re-enlist due to the medical
Right,
issues I was
right,
going
right,
through,
right.
you know, so I did get that. But at the same time, again, I'm like, if I can not spend it because I don't know. And I grew up in a very divided house when it came to finances, right? My mom is very save every single penny, save everything because you have no clue what you're going to go through tomorrow. And that's just based on her lifestyle and where she grew up. My dad is like, you got to enjoy life while you're here, man. Right. So in that moment in my life, I was my mom. I was like, I got to save every penny, right? I got to save everything. So all my stuff was put in storage. But yeah, after a couple nights of sleeping in my car, I was like, this is not going to work. So I called my parents because, you know, thank God I have two very loving parents who just,
And you're originally from here, from Oklahoma, right?
I am. So
Ooh.
my parents, I said they were dual active duty Air Force and they
Tinker Air
got
Force
stationed Tinker. Well, my dad deployed so much that they're like, why move the family? Like he's living in Saudi Arabia. We'll just leave them there, less expense.
Right.
So yeah, so I called them and was like, hey, I think I need to come home. And of course they're like, yay, right? They get on like the
you've
next
been gone
plane.
for 4 years. What are you
Yes, yes.
Come on.
So, and my dad wanted 7 girls, and I'm the youngest of 4. So, it's like, yay, baby girl's coming
The
home. And
baby's
I'm
coming
like,
back.
my life sucks. Right. So they fly out, they're like on the next plane, because literally like time, right? I felt like I called them at like 11 o'clock at night while sleeping in my car, and then it was like noon the next day. We were getting lunch on the beach. um, so we did a road trip kind of back, and I stayed in my parents' house, and it was rough, man. Like
I bet.
literally I would wake up late, and I would use the excuse of like the time zone difference. So I wake up at noon because really that's like 10, or I'd wake up at 10 because really that's like 8.
Right.
But then come the evening time, it'd be like 8 o'clock at night, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep. And they're like, yeah, but isn't it 6 o'clock? Right? Doesn't that work the other way? And I'm like, no. So for whatever reason, my mom had like the Sam's Clubs, like the big cheesy puff bucket. Like I had younger
Oh, the
nieces,
big
so
old
for
cheese
grandkids,
balls, the cheese ball bucket.
yes, yes. So I'm
I
like
got
sitting
one
on the
at my house. I
couch.
got a bunch of kids. I know. Yeah, I got one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You definitely have it. So just sitting on the couch with my bucket of cheesy puffs, crying my eyes out to Grey's Anatomy. Like this is my life. Like, oh my God. Like, right. So one night, my dad, it's real quiet, and I'm a talkative person. Clearly I'm a
Right.
talkaholic, and I was like not talking at all. There's like one person in the whole state of Oklahoma that was a friend of mine that I stayed in contact with. And one night we're sitting there and it's super quiet. My dad just looks up and he says, Rosebud, you're getting fat. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. And
Oh
it
no.
had, so he's like, I say that, and my dad probably cringes every time I tell the story, but it wasn't like you were getting fat, like you're getting fat, you're putting on weight, you're obese. It was a trigger word for me. It was my wake up word, where I was like, when I heard that, I heard, you're right. I'm sitting here. I'm not doing anything with my life. I'm just sitting. I'm wasting away.
You earned
Where's my
it.
motivation?
4 years in the Marine Corps.
Yeah. Well, I got my associates while I was on active duty. So like the next morning, right, my dad takes off work and he takes me up to UCO, and I go to apply, and Marine fresh out of the Marine Corps, someone tells me some shit and I'm like, no, that's wrong. You're wrong. I'm not okay with this. So I get very, very angry. And it was a huge miscommunication, right? The guy he didn't know. So he went to ask him, what he was told was wrong. That happens a lot. So anyway, so I walk across the hall from admissions to go to the VA office, and I'm like, hey, I need you to fix this. Right. And that woman behind the desk says, like, hey, here's a piece of paper, go online. I was like, no. So my dad pulls me out of there, right? Because he's like, I think we've had enough fun for one day. This was a lot after sitting on the couch for a few weeks. Like, let's try again maybe tomorrow. So I call and call and call, and I end up getting the director of admissions on the phone. And I'm like, this is BS, blah, 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 blah. She happened to be a spouse of an active duty airman. And she says, no. Clearly there was some misunderstanding. Somebody told you wrong. I will fix this. So I was like, oh, okay. Like, all right. Okay, cool. So sure enough, I'm enrolled in UCO working on my bachelor's degree. And I went back to the VA office there and kind of made friends with a guy that worked there. And I said, hey, what's it take to work here? He goes, oh, we actually have an opening. You want to work here? I was like, yeah, let's do this. So I talked to the woman at the university that oversaw the VA program, and bam, I started working there. And I said, you know what? I'm going to make sure no veteran ever has to go through what I went through.
Ain't that crazy?
So instead of just like filing GI Bill claims, right, and paying, like, oh, process your paycheck, school's paid, yay. It was, what does the veteran need for that transition? Because it's more than just make sure my school's paid for.
No,
right?
Absolutely. And that's the biggest thing. Like you said, when you got out, you're like, I was living in my car. Like,
Yeah.
so what that tells me is like nobody prepared you during that week-long transition out class. Like nobody helped you with how to write a resume, how to find work, how to get a disability started. If you've got a disability, you got a disability clearly because you did something while you was on active duty. You got a disability, right?
Yeah. So for me, that process was a little different too, but I'm with you. Like with TAPS, it's a great program. It's information overload. So the VA actually has a program that started about a year, like 2 years ago. And I think it's called Solid Start. Now I'm like questioning myself if that's true or not. But basically the VA started a program and they recognize this gap, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now they call people 30 days out. Hey, we're just calling. Is there anything you need? Anything, like anything? Oh, okay, cool. We'll call you back probably in like 3-4 months, and then they'll call back about that 6-month mark and be like, hey, just checking in, how you settling in? You got a job? Are you going to school? What's going on? Can we help you with anything? So it's a really great program now. But for those of us that went through it without that, yeah, it sucks. And I was actually one of the first on the DES program, which was the disability evaluation system. So they changed it. And the big joke then is like, please don't take offense. But the big joke is airmen were getting out with a paper cut and getting full medical retirement, while Marines who still had bullets stuck in their head were being retained for service. So they said, this is what we're fighting for.
This is what we're struggling with every day, man.
Yeah. So what they did was they ended up taking everyone going through the disability claim, and you had to go through the VA. So the VA determined if it was a disability to their standards, at what percentage to their standards. And then that came back to the branch of service, and the branch of service could basically agree or disagree. But they basically would say, okay, we'll still keep you in the military with this disability, or we're going to go ahead and let you get out, or make you get out. So kind of depends, right? So I knew a Marine who was like, no, I want to stay in. And the Marine Corps was like, no, definitely not. And that's kind of where I was. The thing that I was on a med board for, I got into a really bad accident that those injuries actually were even worse than the injuries that I started out on the med board for. So
oh, wow.
It's kind of just unfortunate. I didn't really have a choice. I always thought that I'd do one more round of 4 years, but then that just wasn't in the cards for me.
Just wasn't in there, right?
Yeah. So now I'm serving on the outside.
And that's awesome. I mean, so, and that's the biggest thing. That's why I always bring on my brothers and sisters, regardless what branch they were in, just to talk about how was your transition? How was that week-long information overload, like you said? And a lot of people like, it sucked, dude. Like a week does not. I was like, no, because a class like that requires a month-long process, because you got to sit down, you got to figure out how do I become a civilian? How do I interact with civilians?
Yeah.
How do I write a resume in regards to what I've done for the past 4 years, 14 years, or 40 years? How do I write a resume saying, this is what I'm good at? I know I'm good at this because I was a leader. So how do I translate all that information? And then your disability claim, like, how do I go about starting my disability claim? How do I go about getting what I need so I can, because like you said, I didn't want to waste all my money. But if you get your disability claim before you process out, that's already in there. So regardless if you get 10%, 30%, 100%, at least you got that money coming in. And then your GI Bill on top of that. You can get your GI Bill, and then you get the money from the GI Bill. So you're like, okay, now I'm not struggling as bad. And then a lot of people don't know, hey, you can go and get unemployment as well now. Oh, really? I can get unemployment? And just understand so people can get on their feet, And I think that's the hard part for the enlisted side is like, what do I do now? Am I an entrepreneur? Can I start my own business? That's
definitely something that was not talked about in my TAMS class. But I had the opportunity to go through twice. So that's a kind of story in itself, but sitting there with people who were like, I get out next week. It's like, or I get out next month. So we started talking about how like, man, this would be really great if people had to take this class a year out and then do like a refresher a few months out. Right. So that way they know, oh, hey, I need to start gathering this information, or, hey, I can go ahead and file this or do that. Or since I was in California and my TAMS was in California, it was a lot of California specific resources, which is great, but it would be really great. And I don't know if they're doing this now across the board, but saying like, here is a list of all the states and the contact. One of my colleagues, she actually PCS'd from overseas. I forget what country she was in, but so she didn't get really a TAMPS, and they didn't. So she basically, okay, you're going to leave. Let's say it was Germany, because I don't quite remember, but Germany. Right. And then she gets sent back for like 1 week to finish all the official processing. And then it's like, bye. And it's like,
And that's what I'm saying. When you're overseas, it's a lot harder because depending on where you're at, wherever you're at, I mean, They don't care. They're done with you. You say you don't want to play with no more, and they said, okay, well, we're done
Yeah.
with you. We don't need you no more.
Bye.
And it
Yeah.
sucks, dude. It truly does suck. And that's one thing I keep noticing and keep seeing. I'm like, my light bulb goes on, and I'm like, I've got people who are representatives with the VA that do disability claims, that know how to go about doing disability claims.
Hmm.
I've got people that know how to write resumes in regards to your time of service and what you've done, and able to translate that over into a civilian format so you're able to get a job. Light bulbs start going off, and I'm like, let's see here. And I was like, and people retire from the military on a daily basis. You were in IPAC, so you know people retiring daily. Active duty people are retiring daily, and they're like, I need a job, so I'm not sitting at home bored as hell. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Yeah.
it's strong at my heartstrings because I work for the federal government still, and they just gave me my 20-year pay. I was like, fuck. If I would have stayed active duty, I'd be retiring already. You know what I'm saying? If I would have stayed active duty, I'd be retiring already. You know, I'm 37 years old, dude. I'll be retiring at 37. You know,
Well, and you saw they changed the retirement program.
how they change it now?
Oh man, it's different. It's completely different.
Is it?
So yeah, yeah. So you should check it out because I don't want to like misquote it, but it is different.
Is it?
And I think it changed like 2-3 years ago or something, but like the effective date I think was last year maybe, to where everyone coming in new is now under the new retirement system. Yeah, yeah. So
Gross. Yeah. And
crazy.
that's why I was like, I'd be 37 retiring. And I'm like, I can't quit at 37, quit after 20 years. Like,
Yeah.
like, what am I supposed to do? What the hell am I supposed to do? I'm still too young. That's why I told my wife now, here with the federal government, I said, I'll give them 30 because I transferred my time, my time transferred over. I'll give them 30 years, but then after that, I'm still only 47. I still can't even draw my own retirement after 30 years of federal service. you know, it take another 10 years, which put me at 40 years. I'm like, why? I said, no, why am I going to do that? I said, so I got 10 years to get my head out of my butt and figure out what I'm going to do. And like I said, every time I bring you guys on the show, every time I bring family on the show, they're like, it sucked. It sucks. So I was like, all right, I got to put pen to paper and draw up a program for all bases, all government installations, and hire retired military personnel and train them how to go about starting disability claims, how to write resumes, how to do these things, and have the government pay me to provide these services to our brothers and sisters who are about to get out of service. Because I had Brandon on my show. He's a transition coach out of Houston, Texas, and he's like, dude, there's 200,000 service members getting out of military on a yearly basis. 200,000 people on a yearly basis. I was like, that's a lot of freaking veterans getting out,
Yeah, man.
And he's like, and none of them know. He said, like, 80-90% of them have no idea what the hell they're going to do after they get out, after they retire, after they hit their retirement or whatever. They're getting
Yep.
out, just getting out after 4 years. He's like, because nobody's there training them, showing them, here, let me help you write your first resume. I'll write your first resume for you. Because why? Because I'm getting paid right now to teach you how to do this. So,
Well, even certifications don't transfer over. So
yeah,
like my husband was active duty Navy, went into the Navy Reserves, and then got on with Tinker. And the certifications for the planes that he was working on in the Navy, same planes that he was working on for the DoD side, the civilian side, he had to go to college to get those certifications so he could do the job that he'd already been doing.
he'd already been doing, right?
So
So
there's barriers like that
is
people
he
are
working on the
working on
E6s over
too.
there?
Oh shoot, I don't know, the Navy side,
He,
whatever.
probably the E6s over there. I work out
I
there at
don't
Tinker
remember.
too. I work out there at Tinker too. I work for the One Star.
Yeah.
So I hate that
I
place.
always feel so bad.
I hate that
I always
place
feel
so bad.
so bad. I can't even remember his rate. So when people are like, what was his rate? I'm like, I don't know. He did like some aviation stuff or something. We weren't together when either of us were active duty. We actually met through our rowing program. So we both met when we were veterans.
Go figure that. Look at that. Look
So
at that. It was
yeah,
just meant to
crazy
be
world.
back here in Oklahoma when you did it, right? So now that
Yeah.
you've gotten out, you decided I'm gonna start my own. I'm gonna be an inspirational speaker, motivational, inspirational speaker. And you started your own consulting agency, right?
Yeah, yeah. So it took a few years after I got out. I, went through some other endeavors and just really saw through the programs and contracts I had worked on that sometimes what I am capable of doing isn't what an employer is allowing me. I actually worked somewhere where at one point they were like, um, you're working too hard too fast. We need you. That was actually a complaint at a couple of jobs, come to think of it. That it was like, we just need you to like be in the office a little bit more and like kind of like watch some YouTube videos. It was kind of and I'm
So you
like,
understand I'm a Marine, right? I'm a
I'm a high
Marine.
achiever. Yeah.
Yes,
I'm
I'm a
like, I
Marine.
have to accomplish. So I really had to take a step back and think, okay, I can really volunteer my time, right? I can volunteer the crap out of my time, but that's not sustainable. It's not sustainable for me, for my family, for the people I'm helping, right?
Right.
So in order to help more people having income coming in, I can do things like a website that reaches more people, right? I can get someone to help me do all the stuff that I either just don't want to do or just isn't in my natural ability wellhouse, right?
Right.
I have a business partner. It's funny how like split we are. Like what I'm really good at is what she absolutely hates. And what she's really good at is just not like, that's not my thing, So being able to start my own business and consult to where I can speak, I can train, and I can advocate on my own dime and do it on my own time and not be restricted by an employer that's like, we just don't want to do that right now, maybe next year. And I'm like, why not? Why not now? Like, I don't understand. Like, I can go do it now rather than next year. So that's really why I kind of broke and said, you know what? I freelanced for about a year and a half. And then I'm like, it's time for me to just make myself official. So I registered my LLC and I've just been pushing forward ever since. Like, hey, how much more impact can I do? How much more help can I do? So it's a blessing for me because it's keeping me to be able to serve other people. But I love it. I
Absolutely.
love being able to speak to anyone like you who let
Just
me
helping people, right?
ramble.
You're helping people doing your thing. And the funny thing is that you said you went to school, but you didn't go to school to be a consultant, did you?
No, no. And since the majority of the work that I do is in suicide prevention, overdose prevention, I also did not go to school for that. So
For counseling, you didn't even go for substance abuse counseling or anything.
yeah. So my primary master's is crime intelligence analysis, actually. So data analyzing, researching, and
We would like to give a huge thanks to Rafa 180. Rafa 180 offers pure medicinal CBD and products made locally. They walk alongside individuals to achieve a healthy lifestyle with options needed by each person. You can learn more about them on Facebook at Rafa CBD, their website www.rafa180.com, or email at rafacbd@gmail.com. They truly believe your journey matters.
my secondary program was religion and culture studies, and I actually was helping develop and write that program. So I got to student teach under it, and really awesome experience. Great mentors in both programs. And I landed in suicide prevention on accident. But I joke, I got 2 master's degrees. I love research and I love people. So if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. But yeah, that was not. I never really thought that. Now, as a kid, I will say, as a kid up until about age 5, I want to be an ice skater.
Nice.
But yeah, the closest rink that did any kind of lessons was a 2.5-hour drive. And again, both my parents were active duty, right? So
Right.
that just wasn't going to happen. So my parents sat me down and had to break my childhood dreams, break my heart, because I was going to be, the next big thing.
Right.
And I said, okay, fine. I'll just be an actress. So
you are in San Diego. You are in San Diego.
Yeah, I did. So I have actually been in like 6 movies. I've done a lot of modeling stuff, for all kinds of different ranges of modeling stuff, from even runway. I'm short, but I did do some runway stuff. But my parents really helped support that and was like, okay. I took modeling lessons, I took acting lessons, I did all the mall fashion shows when I was a kid. So when I got older and I linked up with a group in Beverly Hills, I would drive on the weekends and make that long drive, being stuck in traffic, to go up there to work with a group out there. And it was a lot of fun. And I've done some more stuff even since I've been in Oklahoma. But yeah, so I feel like through being able to speak and empower people and motivate people and just inspire people to be better people and make people happy, right? So as a kid, like that was my goal, like to be an actress was, I'm going to make people happy because I'm going to make people laugh.
Right.
And movies are my escape. I go to the movie theater because I escape. Like I joke with people when I watch TV shows, like Grey's Anatomy, right? I mentioned that earlier, crying my eyes out, right?
Right.
Those are my friends, right? Because I get into it. Like that's my escape from my reality, is
Right.
getting into the show, right? So that's how I felt about acting. Like I could be that for other people. And I
Right.
feel like I'm fulfilling that like childhood desire of being able to make people happy, make people smile, bring joy to people's lives by being able to speak and advocate for people.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, especially what you're doing. I mean, with the inspirational speakings that you're doing, it's like we were talking earlier. It's a just be nice to people.
Yeah, man.
That's all we need to be is just, yeah, we're vets. Yeah, we're war vets or whatever. And we've done more things than most people have in their entire life. We've seen more things than most people have in their entire life. But that shouldn't make us cruel and mean, what I'm
Yeah.
saying, hateful. Do we hate the society we're in? Yeah. Do we hate the way our government's being ran right now? Yeah. But if you're nice to somebody, dude, you can make that difference in their life for that
Yeah.
day. And you
Yeah,
never
man.
know how much impact that could have on them. You don't know what kind of day they're having. They could be having
Yeah.
the worst day in the world, but because you say, "Oh, thank you so much," what I'm saying, let me know if there's anything I can help you with, or there's something I can do for you. If there's something I can do, because that's like I tell people with my show. I've had some great guests. I've got you on my show now. I've had great guests, and I continue bringing great people on that are making an impact in our community. I always stress at every show is that us veterans, we are a rare breed. We are very rare. And you
Yes.
being a jarhead like me, we're a rare breed amongst everybody else because you can go talk to my wife. I've been with her we're going on 21 years this April. We've been together. She was with me from the beginning and she's still with me today.
Whoa.
And
That's
she's
awesome.
like, you damn jarheads are a rare freaking breed. You guys are a hard breed to love. Like you are a very, I mean, your husband probably say the same thing. Like you are hard to love. Like you deal with some stupid crap. You do some things. I'm just like, wow, like why? Why,
I
right?
like to say it takes a special kind of special to have to go through the mindset,
Right?
just even that, I joke that I was a little paranoid before the Marine Corps, but the Marine Corps enhanced
It
that,
answered it.
right? Yeah, because before I would just be like, oh, this needs to be secured. And now I'm like, have a complete meltdown when a door's unlocked or I find an abandoned trash bag on the side of the road. It's like, why is there a trash bag right there? Not like, like, oh, whatever, somebody fell out of their truck. It's like, why? Why
Why?
is it there?
Right?
Well, if it fell out of someone's truck, why didn't they get it? Because now it's there. And, it's like,
No,
or
absolutely. I do
the
the
door
same
has a
thing. Like
lock. It should be locked.
I live out here. I live out here on the border of Norman and Moore area out here, and there's not. I mean, there's neighborhoods, but these neighborhoods, they're hundreds of yards away from each other. And I'll be driving. I'm like, look, like this right here, sweetheart. This guy just walking, ain't nothing out here, and he just out here walking. Like, why is he out here walking? She's like, because he just left over there. I said, but he's in the middle of nowhere. Like he doesn't have a bicycle and he's just walking and he's just out in the middle of nowhere, just randomly walking down the road. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
that's not right. Like people shouldn't just be walking randomly in the middle of the road, like walking down the side of the street and there ain't no houses for hundreds of yards away. Like he's not going to go see his friend. Like he didn't leave his house, left his neighborhood, walked a mile up the road, and now he's walking another 3 miles to go to his friend's house. I said, no, who does that?
Yeah.
know?
You definitely, yeah, that's where, we kind of had a little conversation about this earlier about how like we're really great at judging people, right? But sometimes it's our experiences, right? So just like that, right? Is like, why is this guy walking around? Like it's super shady,
Super shady,
right?
right?
Like, but, and then that goes to like our training and the mindset we have to be in, it takes a special kind of person to be willing to go through that. And then, coming out on the other side of all that. Yeah. And it takes some strong
It takes
people
right?
to
So
deal with
I'm sure your
us.
husband deals with some things. He's like, well, shut
Man,
up,
I'm crazy.
just stop it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, like he's
You
seen
know?
some of my complete breakdowns over having a door unlocked. And he's just like, I don't like, this is a whole lot. Like, why is this as big a deal as it is, So yeah, it takes some strong people to help us continue to transition, man. Cause some of that
It's
stuff,
hard, dude.
you live 18 years before the Marine Corps, right? Then you go in the Marine Corps and then all of a sudden you're like, it hasn't been another 18 years, but somehow that like 4 or 8-10 year time frame has affected the rest of our lives in a way that we can't come back from. We just like you can't unsee, you can't change some of the mindset and the processing that gets embedded into you.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. And that's the thing, what I'm saying? It's hard for us. It's hard to be like, well, why do I got to show appreciation for somebody else? But we really do. We need to sit back and say,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
man.
saying? How are you doing today? I like I said, I've been talking with a lot of, I usually try to spend my weekends catching up with people that have been, for whatever reason, it is the season. Everybody was going through a divorce. I had like 8 or 10 friends that I knew, acquaintances that I knew, they were going in the middle of a divorce. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, what is going on? What's in the water? Like everybody's getting a divorce right now. I'm like, man, what happened? And, I'm saying a lot of them are Marines, some Army, whatever. I'm like, what happened? Like, what's going on? What We are selfish. Being a service member, we're super selfish, dude. We only think about ourselves, honestly. And it's hard, It's hard to be like that, to take consideration of other people's feelings, because being in the Marine Corps, especially in the Marine Corps, like, bullshit. Take care of yourself. Ask questions later. You
Well,
know.
and I think that's something too, is like you have to really heavily rely on yourself,
Right.
right? So there is that part of the Marine Corps where, in boot camp they take out the I, the me, the my. It's a team, it's a team, it's a team, it's a team.
Right.
But you really you got to take care of your own. You have to own everything. You have to make sure that you are ready to go so you can take care of other people. So I think that sometimes, yeah, it does fall on that. Like we end up being like very self-focused on, we got to take care of our own. And I think that's what happens too when we have a problem, right?
Right.
It's like, well, we gotta take care of our own. We can't go outside, because, we got to put, I like to joke, I could put my Marine Corps pants on and suck it up and go about my day and take care of it, take charge. Right. So that's normally my joke when I'm like, I'm about to lay into someone's like, I'm about to put my Marine Corps pants on and get this done. Like it's just got to get done. Because typically I wear dresses and skirts, and I wear makeup and, I'm this little girl. Right. And it's like, no, I'm a Marine Corps. Like, yeah, I still know how to choke someone to death. Like, I'll do it.
I can still drench, naked,
Yeah.
choke you. Like it's not hard. I can
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
Skirt. Trust me, it's easy.
Yeah. But I mean, like you said, appreciation for other people, right? Because every job is so important.
It is.
Right. I so many times, like I'll go to the grocery store and someone will be stocking the food and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm in your way. Right. And I'm like, you're fine, man.
Dude, I'm in your way.
Let me get out of your way. I'm like, if you weren't putting it on the shelf, I couldn't come in here and grab it off the shelf. So
Right?
don't be sorry to me.
Absolutely.
And I always get a look of like, wait, what? So I wonder how many people are like, oh, they have the cart in the way. Well, you're welcome for putting the food on the shelf for you so you can
Right.
eat. And you don't have to grow your own food. Like,
Right. No, absolutely. And that's the hard part. I mean, and that's when my wife always stresses that to my son. Like, you want to see how a girl really is. You want to see her true instincts. Take her out to dinner and see how she treats the waitress.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Because I mean, it's true. I said, because like you said, every job is important. If you went to a restaurant and there wasn't a waitress there, who the hell's gonna get your food?
Yeah. And if somebody wasn't the busboy cleaning your plates, what you just gonna eat on dirty plates?
Eat on a dirty plate?
Like
you bring your own plate, or what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like every job's important, and that's what we stress to our kids. Like everybody's job's important. Like even at work, we have your husband he works out at Tinka, and so he knows about Dale Rogers training.
Oh, he did.
Oh, he did. So
yeah.
I'm sure he is aware of this of the janitors is Dale Rogers, and it's a contract work, and these individuals they suffer with like a mental illness type disability, and so
cool.
they give them a job. They give them a job, and they're janitors, and they go and they clean everything up. You know what I'm saying? And I tell them, I sit around and I'll talk with them. People are like, why are you talking? I said, why not? I said, I like a clean restroom. I like toilet paper.
Yeah.
I like freaking napkins when I wash my hands. I like those
that
are there. And if they weren't there to do that, who would do it? You're not going to do it. They pay you too much money to be doing that, right? I'll do it because guess what? In the Marine Corps, I clean so many heads. I can tell you the best way to clean the toilet, the best way to clean a urinal. I can tell you the best way to stock paper towels. I can do that. Why? Because guess what? You had to start at the bottom, which I did. And I had to learn how to clean toilets. I had to learn how to clean showers and urinals and you name it. I've cleaned it. Like, it's one of the things because guess what? When you're at the bottom, you got to start at the bottom.
Yeah, man, bro. When I was in the barracks, I always had the cleanest room because I'm like very, very particular. Like, so my room was always clean. And on field day, I don't really have to do that much. Right. But you as a team, you have to clean the ladder wells together and all that kind of stuff. Well, they started saying once you were cleared, you then had to help everybody else on your floor till they got cleared and then everyone in your tier until they got cleared. So I had to teach some 18, 19-year-old men what they need to do to stop pissing on the floor. And I was like, the hell is this, man?
My wife tells me that all the time. She's like, you piss on the floor so much. I was like, I can't help it. I'm on top of the toilet. It just happens to drip.
Yeah,
I don't
man.
know what to tell you.
Sit down, point it in. I'm like, ain't nobody want to clean that up.
Ain't nobody want to clean that.
No. I actually, I knew somebody that apparently that's what they did because that's what their son did. Was didn't stand and pee, would hop up on the toilet and pee sitting down. I was like, because I took the kid to the restroom a couple times. I'm like, do you know? Like, So anyway, but yeah, I mean that's something too, right? Is that we all have to start at the bottom, right? We've all had to do jobs, growing up. I did all kinds of stuff. I worked at a horse barn when I was like 12, shoveling horse manure, and then working at restaurants and having to clean human manure. But we all start somewhere, and I think somewhere along the line people forget that,
right?
Or maybe they were blessed to not have to work a day in their life, and whatever. I don't know. I don't know if that's a blessing. Actually, I don't think that is. I don't think it is working hard is actually a blessing because you learn so much. But if we forget where we come from, once we get up here, right? Like your up here isn't going to last. Your up here is not supported. Your up here is meaningless.
Right.
Everyone has a job to do. You've had to work from the bottom, work your way up, supporting those people, being kind to those people, because just like I said, right, I started my own company. It's not all me, man. I got to get other people to, do the stuff I don't want to do, but do the stuff that that's not my expertise. That's not my skill set.
Right.
I got this skill set here. I need this over here done. Right. So who can I bring in to help with that? Yes. And being able to say, hey, like just being honest, like I can't do that. Somebody else has to do that for me. And if they don't do that for me, it's not getting done. So I'm very loving and appreciative.
Absolutely.
So it's literally every job, man, every job. And I think people forget that.
Absolutely. And that's the biggest, I think that's what's wrong with our society today. I mean, we see it now. I mean, everybody's hating everybody. Oh, you're a left wing, you're a right wing. Oh, you're transphobic or whatever the case may be. It's like, dude, I said, that's why I always try to stress people. I said, you're given one mouth, 2 ears, and 2 eyes, right? You're given that. You were blessed to have it. Some of y'all might only have 1 ear. One of y'all might only have 1 eye. But I mean, you have 2 of them. I said, open your ears and keep your mouth shut and hear why they believe in what they're believing in. I said, it might open up it might give you some insight. Like, oh, I never thought about it from that angle. Okay. Yeah. Now I can put that in here. I can calibrate that into my everyday thinking. Be like, okay, that's why they think like that. Well, that's why they think this, or that's why they think the way they think. But then don't be so nasty with them. Tell them why you think what you think, and maybe it might open up their eyes. Because a lot of people are so hateful to each other. It's like, what is going on, dude? Like, listen to me. I'm an adult. You're an adult. Let's take time and act like adults and listen to each other. Listen to why we believe in what we believe in. Listen why we do what we do. We're adults. We have to be able to work with each other. I mean, you don't go to work. I mean, you own your own business. You can do whatever you want. But I mean, some of us that have to work for somebody. You have to. That's one of the interview questions. How do you work with other people? Well, I like talking to people. That's why I do my show. I like bringing people on I've never met, and talking about what they're doing in life, how they're treating society, how they're doing what they're doing in society, how they're doing in my community. Like you, Rosebud Consulting, you're an inspirational speaker, motivational speaker. You help talk about suicide awareness, opioid addictions, and stuff like that. On top of, gosh, who knows what else you've been doing? How long you been doing Rosebud Consulting?
So formally, it is about 1.5 years now. Yeah, so formally 1.5 years now. I was pretty much doing the work, but never didn't register myself, make myself all official. So I've really been doing the work. I've been in suicide prevention for over 5 years now, and overdose prevention for about 3 years now. Okay. So yeah, I've been doing the work, just didn't make it official and put a title to it.
That's good though. But I mean, you're doing it now, and you found your groove. You people need this. People need it, man. People need.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying? Like you said, I love sitting down with somebody and helping them with what they need, helping them with however I can help them with. Because I mean, honestly, like you said, you're a Marine. You know what it's like to be a leader. You know what it means to be a leader. You know what's a necessity to help people get where they want to go. Marines breed leaders, plain and simple. You know what I'm saying? You never thought, you'd be like, I never thought, but look at you now.
No,
You are
man,
like,
Simon Sinek says it. He has a book called Leaders Eat Last, and
Yeah.
he literally got that from Marine Corps.
right.
So he tells the story. It's a great book and it's phenomenal, but it's true. I mean, I can't speak on the Air Force. I can speak on the Army. You know,
Right.
I didn't serve in the Navy, right? So I can tell you my experience in the Marine Corps and what I learned and how I grew. And I even if everything happened the same way it happened, and I have my shit stories from my service, right?
Right.
I would do it all over again,
Right. No,
all
absolutely.
over
And
again,
that's what people ask
because
me. People ask me about that. Like, do you miss the Marine Corps? I said, it's not the Corps that I miss. It's my brothers and sisters that I
yeah,
miss. It's that brotherhood, that
yeah,
camaraderie. I said, because you can't get that anywhere else. I mean, maybe if you're a cop or a firefighter or a paramedic, maybe. But I said that brotherhood, that camaraderie that you had while you were in serving, dude, that's everything. That's life. Like my wife says it the best. She's like, you guys in the Marine Corps are a bunch of freaking people who are about to go to prison. He said, plain and simple. They're like, go to jail or join the Marine Corps. And they're like, I'm going to Marine Corps. Sure, this I go to jail,
oh man,
And it's
yeah,
like, but a lot of us on the enlisted side come from broken homes. Like we are, we're broken people. Some of us have lived in the stumps. Some of us have lived in the ghettos. Some of us grew up poor as hell, didn't know what the hell, which way we're hustling just to make a living, just so we could eat on a daily basis, whatever the case may be. Some of us a little bit more blessed than others, but I mean, we all come together, and that's what I loved about
yeah.
the Marine Corps. It didn't matter what walk of life. Somebody who had both their parents and they were given everything and they were able to grow up together, and you had those people, and now they're interacting with people who grew up in the ghetto, and you're like, damn, dude, like you had a hard life, but guess what, you guys are working together now to be like, look, let me help you
Mhm.
get where you need to be, get what you need, so that you guys work together, regardless. You're like, I don't like that guy, but you'll talk to him like, I'll talk to you. I don't like you, but
Yeah.
I'll talk to you.
Yeah, you learn to work with different kind of people from different backgrounds, different experiences. I'm from small town Oklahoma, right? But it was more of a culture shock for me to come back to Oklahoma than it was for me to join the Marine Corps and be in San Diego, right? So it's kind of funny for that. But shoot, man, I went to boot camp. There was a girl who was homeless. Right. And then you got the girl over here whose parents paid for everything. They lived in like $1 million home. She had the $65,000 car waiting for her when she got a boot camp. And I'm like, why did you join the Marine Corps?
Right.
But everyone has the reasons. We all come
Everybody.
from different backgrounds. And that also ties into, we don't know what people have experienced. We don't know what people are going through today.
Right.
So that goes back to, if we treat everyone with some love and some grace and give people the benefit of the doubt, like, man, that's going to go so far, because we have no clue what they're battling. I mean, I can tell you, like, my experience. My husband had brain surgery just a few weeks ago, and the amount of love that people were coming out and showing me. And I had one of the projects I'm on, someone called me and I answered the phone and I'm like, hi, it's just Gross. I'm like, oh, hey, what's going on? I'm like, I'm in the hospital right now. And they're like, what? Why did you answer the phone? I'm like, well, because I saw that you were calling, and I just kind of snuck into the bathroom, so I'm talking to you for a little bit, right? But it was so cool because people were like, don't worry about a thing,
Yeah.
right? But had people not known, and people that I surround myself with, like my mentors and my colleagues, if I'm not surrounding myself around people who are like-minded in me, and they're like, well, she didn't return my phone call, she's this horrible, awful person, she didn't respond to my email. Instead of following up with that person, being like, hey, I'm not sure if you got my last email. I mean, I did that recently with someone I contract with. I sent him an email and I got distracted, and a week or two went by and I was like, it's really odd, they haven't emailed me back. So I emailed them again, I forwarded it, and I was like, hey, just kind of following up. And another week went by and I'm like, oh my God, I hope they didn't die. Like, that's my thought. That's how I think. I'm not like, man, they're ignoring me, why aren't they doing that? I think like, something must be going on, right? So then he ends up calling me. He's like, I'm so sorry. Somehow I didn't get your first email. Your second email came through. This and that was going on. And I was like, nah, man, it's cool. Like, hey, glad you're okay. Right. Now let's get this taken care of. And I think that we're not in that mindset, right? We're not in a human being. We hold other people to a standard that we would complain about if people held us to that standard, right? My meal needs to be perfectly cooked. It needs to be brought to me in a reasonable amount of time for a reasonable amount of temperature, or my cashier is checking me out too slowly, right? I have somewhere to be. Oh, really? Really? Does someone treat you like that in your own job? And
Right.
what you are involved in, what you do? Does someone come in, and you're a mom, right? And they're like, you really shouldn't let your kid play with that. Yeah. Why aren't you doing that? Why isn't your house as clean? Or,
Right.
you say you work at Tinker, right? Someone coming in there, you're working in a warehouse, be like, these boxes aren't perfectly aligned, or why is this trash can still have all this trash in it?
Right.
Why haven't you broken down these boxes over here? You're like, because I'm working on this report, or because,
Right.
we're down 3 people because they're sick. And like, man, people are people. And we need to remember that, because the more we show love and grace to other people, the more likely we're going to get that love and grace back. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the biggest thing is that, is helping people, helping our community. I mean, because for us as veterans, we need all the help we can get, dude. There's nobody else helping us. There's nothing out there. There's no resources out there that are really there to assist us in what we're doing. That's why I love bringing great people on my show, other brothers and sisters that are making a difference in our community, making a difference in our society. People who have started nonprofits. They're like, hey, I'm over here, dude. You know somebody over here? Let them know this is what I'm doing over here. And then we can hook up, we can link up. Or somebody over here. Hey, I know somebody. If I don't know somebody, I can reach out to somebody that might know somebody that's out there in that area that can help you out, get you where you're at. I hate seeing it because I mean, you get on Facebook, you get on whatever Instagram or whatever the hell, somebody's taking their life. I mean, we're shooting the show right now. We're losing a brother or sister right now as we shoot the show, and it's sad to say because it gets to that point. It's like, what was the tipping? What was the tipping point? What was
Yeah.
it that you said, I'm not doing this no more? I don't want to do this no more. Why'd you lose your purpose? Why'd you lose your fight? You're losing the
Yeah.
fight. And being a service member, that's one thing they teach us, that we're not quitters. We keep going until we defeat that demon. And we fight demons on a regular basis, some more than others. But that demon is there. That demon's knocking on the
Yeah.
door all day long. It's like I tell people, I got him on the shelf. Sometimes he gets knocked down, and I got to get in there and I got to put his ass back in the box so I can put him back on the shelf and hopefully put him further in the back so he doesn't fall off so easy next time. And so this is what I tell you guys. This is what I stress to you guys is that you have to build your community around you. Miss Jessica Rose here, she's making a difference in our community. She's got a ton of resources, and I'm glad to bring her into the family. I'm glad she's part of the family now. She's here. You're not going nowhere. She a jawhead just like me. She eat
Yep.
crayons just like me. It is cool. Like it's something we do. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
man. Semper Fi. It means it, man. That
Truly.
EGA on your heart.
Yeah, hell yeah, hell. It's on my car. It's in my clothes. It's everywhere. Like you know a Marine when you see a Marine. We walk differently. We smell differently. We smile differently. We just look different. And there's people who love to have us around. There's those that hate having us around because they're like, those cocky SOBs. My wife tells me, she's like, y'all are some cocky SOBs. I said, no, we're confident SOBs is what we are.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so Ronda Rousey had a pretty good quote where she said, "Some people call me cocky, but why should I think little of myself?"
Right.
Like we do. We definitely like we shame people who have confidence, then we wonder why people don't have confidence.
Right.
So yeah, man, you gotta, especially when you're gonna be in shit situations, right? And that things may not turn out perfect. You have to go in with full confidence that what you're gonna doing is work. Because if you go in thinking it's not gonna work, then you're gonna have that on you, and
Yeah. You have to
it's tough.
jump
It's
into
tough.
something. When you jump into something, you have to know this is gonna work. And when it
Yeah.
don't work, you're gonna figure out why it didn't work and you're gonna make sure it works. Because that's just the Marine. I mean, that's my mentality as a Marine. That's what they taught me. It didn't work. No, it's gonna work. We're gonna get it to work. Regardless if it's not gonna work the way I wanted it to work, it's gonna
Mhm.
work. We're gonna make sure that it's gonna work. Plain
Yeah.
and simple, and that's life in general. Like you said, you had plan A, you had plan B, you got down to plan C, like this shit ain't working. What am I
Yeah.
gonna do? So
What
you had to
next?
call up family, you had to call up your resources and say,
Mhm.
hey, I need a place to crash so I can get my crap together. You know,
Yeah.
regardless if it's your mom, your dad, your aunt, your uncle, your friend, whoever it is. But you
Yeah.
came to the point and said, I need help, you know, I need help. And that's what we tell you guys. That's what I tell you guys. You need help. You need to own it. Hey, I need help. Because guess what? Yeah, we're gonna make fun of you. Yeah, we'll probably poke you and make fun of you and laugh at you a little bit. But we're gonna help you so you can make sure that you get where you need to be. Right? You're sitting on the couch watching Grey's Anatomy, eating your cheese
Eating cheesy
balls,
puffs.
cheesy puffs. Daddy says you're getting fat. And you're like, oh shit, I got to do something, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna say something to make you get your wheels turning again. How do we do this?
Yeah.
How do we
Yeah.
get up and how do we start doing this? How do I get where I want to be? Now you're sitting here with 2 master's degree and nothing what you're doing. And you're like, I went to school and I ain't even doing anything I went to school for, you know? But you did it and you got it. And now you're doing something that you love. You're helping our
Mhm.
community. You're helping the veteran community with the resources you need, right? Resources we need on a regular basis. You want to start a podcast? I'll help you. I don't know much about it, but I'll help you. I'll help you figure it out. Heck, yourself. You said you're starting a podcast yourself, right?
Yes, yes. So I haven't launched it yet, but when I was on Dying to Talk with Nathan, he was like, "Yeah, no, it's getting launched. Like, I will make sure it happens." So apparently, within the next couple of weeks, I'll have a launch, and I'll definitely be sharing that out with you, and then yeah, maybe even have you on.
Oh,
So it'd be
absolutely.
great.
Whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want to
Yeah,
be about,
man.
I'll come on it. I'll do it. I don't know what I'd say to you, but we can go whatever angle with it.
Yeah,
Because this is what it's about: is hanging out, enjoying each other, enjoying each other's company and camaraderie.
yeah,
That's what it's about: is going through it and seeing what people's dreams are. Everybody has a dream. What's your dream? Well, Jessica, it's been great hanging out with you today on this Friday, trying to enjoy this beautiful weather and stuff.
yes,
You got
yes.
anything else to say to these freaking knuckleheads that keep watching us?
I think a big thing that I just, I kind of want to reiterate, people treating people like people. And oftentimes what that looks like is validating people and not trying to relate.
Right.
So just keep that in mind, is that we're all human beings, man. We're all going through our own shit every day. So if you can treat everybody like that, they used to say, treat people how you want to be treated, but that doesn't really get through to people. So just
No.
be a human being, and
Right.
feel free to reach out to me for anything, and I'll get you set up.
Absolutely. Just be nice to people, right? Just be
Yeah,
nice.
man.
Just be nice to everybody.
Yeah.
So guys, I'll have her contact information down below in that description box. I'll keep everything down there, how to reach her, especially with this USO stuff. I know a lot of you guys are going to want to know how to get in contact with the USO stuff. And then Rosebud Consulting, dude. Do you own a small business? Do you own a big business? And you're thinking, hey, I need somebody to come in here and come talk to us and to speak to us. Check out Rosebud Consulting, dude. She's definitely there to help you guys to what you need. And like I say every episode, man, smash that daggum subscribe button, dude. The more of you guys that keep following me, the more this gets out to everybody else that doesn't even know that I exist yet, Just remember, guys, you guys aren't alone. We're here for you. If it ain't me, Jessica Rose here. She's here waiting for you too. If you need somebody to talk to, that's what she says she does. She listens. She has an ear. She can bend an ear to listen to you and what you need and what's going on. That is just sometimes that's all we need, is somebody to listen to us and what we're dealing with, man. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Like I said, smash that subscribe button. Let me know what you think. I message everybody back. You message me, I message you back. It's me. I ain't got no team. I'm not like Jessica. I ain't got a team to respond back for me. I gotta respond back myself, But definitely go through. Let me know what you think. Tell me what you want to see. Tell me what you don't want to see, what you don't want to hear from me. Remember, guys, here at the Stone Vet, we got you 6.
Smoke, chill, relax. It's Friday. You ain't got a job. We gon' get high today. Dark of the flesh, the deep of the roots, green of the weed. You know it's true. Puff, puff, pass. Trying to get